What's up, everybody? I'm Chris here, coming to you live from the tool room slash office room. And man, just want to kind of take 3 minutes and talk to you about the upcoming Brown to Green, which is a week from today. So the first Wednesday in February, we start back with Brown to Green. And so I want to kind of explain to you what we're doing, but first I want to explain to you why we're doing it. When we first started Brown to Green, Anita Blair shared some scriptures with us from Luke 13. You can find this in Isaiah as well. And I'm just going to kind of read it to you. It says, "A man had a fig tree growing in his vineyard, and he went out to look for fruit on it, but did not find any. So he said to the man who took care of the vineyard, 'For 3 years now I have been coming to look for fruit on this fig tree and haven't found any. Cut it down. Why should it use up the soil?' Verse 8, 'Sir,' the man replied, 'leave it alone for 1 more year, and I'll dig around it and fertilize it. If it bears fruit next year, fine. If not, then cut it down.'" And so we've been walking in this text for the whole duration of discipleship. So like if you read books on discipleship, they usually, the guys who know what they're talking about, say it takes about 5 years to establish the culture in your church to do this. And so we think that we're moving into year 3. We've been looking forward to this year since year 1. And so the idea behind year 3 is that the man who owns the vineyard, he comes out and he looks at the crop and he says, "Listen, it's not producing the fruit yet that we want to see." And so what we want to do is we're going to dig around it and we're going to add fertilizer to it, and then watch what happens in year 4 and 5. And so like our heart is set on that, like on year 4 and year 5. And so we think this year is the year of the fertilizer. And fertilizer is not more teaching, right? It's only what the Lord can do. It's like sustenance to our soul. Like it's what's going to feed us going forward. And so in line with this, like what we think is like convergence happening is like we think it's time for Brown to Green to move into the corporate up, meaning that we come together as a group of people to pray. And what that looks like is fertilizer. For us, for this church, for people, and for formation in us, for Christ to do what Christ does in us, what Christ can only do in us. And so we're going to bring the church into corporate prayer, or better yet, we're going to bring Brown to Green into corporate prayer. And here's what it looks like. It'll start at 6:30. There'll be no food. There'll be no beverages. It will be open both to you and the people that you're discipling, as well as your kids. So like moving to try not to separate us out, like to bring your children, the people that you're discipling, like this one is open for all of them. And what we're going to do is it's going to be elder led, meaning that Casey, Matt, Randy, the elders of the church will lead out on this, and we're going to move into like 4 pieces with it. So there'll be a time of worship, there'll be a time of confession of our sins, there'll be a time of thanksgiving for God, and there'll be a time of supplication of what we're asking the Lord to do. And all of those will be led by elders in the church. Again, we're looking to go from like 6:30 to 8 or 8:30, depending on what the Lord wants to do, and it will book in with worship in the end. And so, like I say, this is open for the people that you're discipling. It's also open for your kids, all right, to bring them in to the story as well, to let the Lord do with us as He sees fit. Man, I believe it is the fertilizer of what the Lord wants to do. And so, as we practice up, we're going to practice up together as a body of believers. So, for you and for the people that you are discipling, and for your kids, you can use this instead of having group that week. You can come to this instead and cancel your group you do with it as you see fit, as the Lord leads you to do. But man, I'm excited about the church coming together to pray in a corporate fashion. I think Matt touched on this a couple weeks ago in the church on Sunday, and I think it's time to keep moving that door open for us. And so, man, we'll wait and see what the Lord does. And so next Wednesday, 6:30, bring your children. There'll be no food. There'll be no beverages, but it is open to both you, the people you were disciple, and to your children. Okay, there'll be no child care, and so if you think they can handle it, then bring them on. Like we don't want to stop them from watching their parents pray. All right, and so guys, we love you. We look forward to what the Lord's going to do with us this year, and we'll see you in a week.